Niranjan is there? Okay. Anybody, sir? Anybody?
I
Satpati,
can
sir?
start.
Yes, please.
Good.
Ah, Mishra
I
sir can start, sir.
Good morning, good morning. I'm sorry. I can start.
Okay, very good, very good. Niranjan, start. Okay, ठीक है.
okay.
Yes.
येनाक्षर समान्वय समान समानायम
Samamnayam. Yenaksara samamnayam.
Charasamamnayam
अभिगम्य महेश्वरात्.
Adhigamya
Adhigamya
Maheswarat. See,
Maheswarat
Sanskrit, there is meter, always chanda. Is chanda means gives you more here. Adhigamya Maheswarat.
महेश्वरात्
Yes.
कृष्णं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं
Krishnam Vyakaranam
Krishnam
Proktam.
Vyakaranam Proktam
Yes.
तस्मै पाणिनये नमः.
Tasmai Pani
Tasmai
Naye Namaha.
Paninaye Namaha.
Good. Next,
Salutations to
the
Panin.
Shiva
Okay.
Sutras. Yes. Please read.
Ayun,
I
Ranak,
would.
Ayom,
Yes.
Ayouch,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hayavarat, Lan,
Yes.
Yamagananam, Jabang, Gadadash,
Jhabaya.
Jabagadadash.
Jhabaya. Jhabha. These are all voiced ghosas.
Good,
Yeah.
yes.
Ghadadhas.
Gadadash, Jabagadadash, Kapachatata Chatatau, Kapai, Sa
Sasha.
Sha Sha Hal.
Hal. So it is all. You see, Jhabha, Ghadadha are there in Kannada, no?
Sir, in Dravidian languages, we don't
Yes.
have voiced consonants.
But you
Not
are not
voiced,
saying Mahabharata?
not voiced, aspirated consonants.
Generally, in Tamil we have that ka, wa, but
Uh,
bha is not there in Kannada also.
in Kannada also, in other languages also, we don't have aspirated consonants.
So you don't write Bhagavata.
Bhagavata we write with small ba, not the big ba.
Exactly. So that is the, yeah, that is only Dravidian feature, that how voiced consonants are absent. They are absent and they are pronounced, but meaning is same, only sound is yes. So it is the voiceless is only used, not the voiced one. Okay?
Uh,
Okay, very fine, very fine. So then, so you have this, iti Maheswarani Sutrani.
uh,
Okay, now,
Not
so
voiced, sir, the aspiration.
voiced aspirated, yes,
Uh,
voiced aspiration. That is the fourth letters, fourth letters.
yes.
Okay, so now, uh, so yesterday, so anybody has any doubt, any doubt, or we will proceed. So yesterday we talked the concept of why Karaka as a label, which is more syntactic. Syntactic meaning na, which is beyond words. The meaning like karta, karma, etc. are not the meaning of any word. That's why they are not lexical meaning. They are all syntactic meaning. So that is, so we have a label, syntactic label beyond words. But whatever words are used, they are based on the syntactic meaning. So unless that syntax meaning, karta, karma, karna, relations, what we talk verbal relations are understood, the forms cannot be explained. All these vibhaktis used in the words in a sentence. So only in sentence the vibhaktis are used. If no vibhakti, so there is no sentence in the lexicon, what we call the dictionaries. So lexical meaning and grammatical meaning or syntactic meaning are different, because lexical meanings only tells about the meaning of the object. But when it is used in the sentence only, it takes some marker. That marker represents the relationship with the verb. So whether it is karta, karma, karana, these names represent the relations with the verb. So one karta, one karma, one karana. So in a sentence, so that is why it is expected the agent and kriya, what we call the verb. So they are always connected. They can be in any place, but the connection should be there. Samanadhikaranya is there. Then this kartru relation is there, karma relation. So these relations are important. These are the meaning. These are the syntactic meanings. because with that only sentence is understood. And these meanings are conveyed through the vibhaktis. So vibhaktis are only, as we know in linguistics, they say it surface structure. So that is are only used in the when writing. But when you understand that meanings are important. So if it is karta, you get tritiya. If it is karma, you use ditya. Like that. These forms, the relations, karaka and vibhakti, represent the two levels of understanding of human language. This way, karaka is important because karaka only tells what forms you are going to use in the sentence. Whether it's to be Ramaha or Ramam or Ramena, the change comes only when it is related to the verb in a particular way. So that's why these relations are fixed as seven. We call the six karakas. This is why this karaka given by Paninian six. The number is fixed by him. How he has fixed? Now each one is again defined. So if you say six, you have to say what is one, what is two, what is three. No, we say X, Y, Z. So everything should be explained, defined. So now this is what we'll see today, how he has described these six relations and how they have been used in the Ashtadhyayi by Panini. The first one is actually Apadana. Now, Apadana Karaka, as yesterday I told you, he's starting with the Apadana because of the ordering system. Because we want grammatical word correctly. So the ordering is made here. So he has started with the Apadana, then Sampradhana, then Karana. Because the forms which are used to be grammatical, to be corrected, we need to apply the rules accordingly. Vipratiside Parankaryam. We'll see also while dealing with the Karakas. So first thing we are getting this Apadana, it is meaning is always separation. So there are certain activities where separation takes place. So that is separation means moving away. So when separation is a kind of relation, one type of relation that takes place in our activities. So among all the activities, one is about this separation or moving away, which is called apadana. And this apadana is always marked by panchami vibhakti. Panchami apadane. Apadane, Panchami, 2, 3. Actually, 2, 3, 28. 0 can be deleted. It is not 280, it is 28. Vibhakti rule. Okay. Now, what is the definition of this Apadana? Now, Apadana is defined as Dhrubam Apaye Apadanam. Now, what is Apadana? So, Apadana is a Karaka. Karaka is continuing from this is Karaka rule is 1, 4, 23. This is 1, 4, 24. So, the next, because this word Karaka comes at the heading rule, so Apadanam is means, so it refers to Karaka. It is one type of Karaka. So, Apadana Karakam is described as Dhrubam Apaye Apadana. So, Apadana is the Sangya. It is the name given to that relation. Now, which is Apadana Sangya? What is Apadana? Now, when there is a Dhrubam here means the fixed point. A fixed point in relation to separation. That is Apaya. Apaya means separation. So, when something moves away or separates from a fixed point. Okay, so there is a fixed point is the semantic condition. Look at this. So when there is a separation, so in the separation, what we get actually? So there is a fixed point from which something falls, no? So it is the verb, the falling, tells us that there is some fixed point from which something moves away. So moving away means there must be a place from where something moves. So that is why the dhrubam is a condition that is given by Panin to indicate that whenever there is a separation, there must be a fixed point, and that fixed point is related to action of moving. Only when it is related to the action of moving, apaye, it is again saptami condition. You know the saptami, surye udite, when he comes. So we have all conditional meanings. Apaya means when the separation takes place or in connection of, like karake in apaye, apa. So apadanam is that relation which is exists or which happens when there is a movement or when there is a moving away of object from a particular place, source or dhruva. So dhruva is a person, so it can be a person or object, a person or object that is constant when separation takes place. That is called apadana. So example that is given here, as we in almost in all our languages, we are using the same vibhakti. Gramat agachati comes from the village. Gramat. So in Hindi we are using gaon se. Se is used for Panchami. Why you use say Panchami? When you use Panchami, if there is apadana artha. So all Hindi grammars, if you look read it originally, it was written in Hindi. So this apadana is described by Panini to show that when Panchami is used, when is the apadana. So apadane Panchami. So example grammar agachati comes from the village. Brukhyat Parnam Pasati. This Brukhyat Parnam Pasati, these are all used also by Patanjali in Mahavashya. So what is happening? When there is a question of the relation, Patati, anything that falls, it has a source. That is a fixed point. So verb falling or patati has a relation. It is a requirement. So that is called the control. So it has something that has a source. The source exists when it is related to the action of falling. It is apaya. This is apadana. So apadana relation exists. It is not only for Sanskrit. In any language, when we communicate certain things, so the way we communicate, the relation which are they are very much important. This is called one type is apadana, where there is a fixed point and something falls from a particular place. That is called the dhruvam. So he brukhyat pannam patati, the leaf is falling from. So from what is used in English, we use Panchami Vibhakti. How we use? Because semantically the relation is same. Whether it is English or Sanskrit or Hindi or Odia, any language we speak, we know. So there is a relation like apadana which makes the sentences possible, correct also. Whether it is, we say correct. When you translate, how do you translate that it is he is coming from the village? We say, oh, gaon se aa raha hai. How do you know? Because semantics is something different. It is very, very universal. The relations are universal. They are very natural. But unless we understand that, we cannot compare, we cannot translate, we cannot also understand the languages. So this is what how semantically defined the roles or the relations between verb and noun. So one type of relation is apadana, which is based on the so dhrubam apaye apadana. Next please. So this examples. So now we have only, okay, you said that this is only, okay, from tree it is coming. So it is, there is a fixed point. Now sometimes we get also apadana, even it is not fixed in the literal sense. So example, so that is why you need this. So this next sutra tells you, there is it only everything that is fixed only apadana and something else it is. Now the next sutra he says the source of fear is also apadana. How? So he says bhitrarthanam bhaya hetuhu. Next sutra 1425. So bhaya hetuhu apadanam. Again apadana is continued because it is in order by anubhriti. So since karaka is inherited or say inserted into 1424, so apadanam karakam, and this apadana karakam is also understood in the next sutra when you say bhaya hetuhu, also apadana karakam. It is not only dhrubam, bhaya hetu is also apadana karaka. Bhaya hetu kasya, so that's why see, these are the verbs like bhitrartha, nam bhaya, bhitra, bhi dhatu, bhi bhaya, tra, to protect. So bhitrarthanam. So when there are more verbs having this synonymous, that's why bhitrartha. Bhitra artha. So like these verbs which are synonymous, in connection with those verbs, the source of fear is apadana sanya. So example, if you just take it now, from that you will understand sarpat viveti. वो सांप से डरता है, वो जो है ना, so he is afraid, though in English it is afraid of snake, but this of here used always, he has fear from the snake. So there is an underlying structure. So fear from the snake. That is why you are afraid of it. Bhaya. So bhaya karana. So that is the source. It is source. Now it is not a fixed point. We say brukhyat pannam pasati, but how sarpat vibhati, sarpa name is used because it moves. Sarpati. Sarpa means to move. Because it moves only, it is called sarpa. But then how, which is moving, how it can be a source, how it can be dhruvam, fixed point. So that's why he has used the word bhaya hetu. Hetu is also apadana, bhaya hetu. This is debated by Patanjali. So this was questioned by Katyayana. Then in Vartika, how can you say a moving element as the fixed point? Because snake, it is called sarpa because it moves. So when tree is a fixed point in relation to falling, that is Brukhyat Patati, but Sarpat Vibhati, Sarpa is not a fixed point. So they are Patanjali. Gives an interpretation. Panini has used the word not just keeping, they are saying that only in a physically what is fixed is only apadana. Apadana, it is open. So then he says, Patanjali gives the explanation because this, on this sutra particularly, because even the snake is moving, but snake is the cause of the fear. We are afraid of the snake because it is the cause of the fear. So cause is fixed, no, in the mind. He says in the mind, manasa. So in the mind first, it is fixed that the snake is fearful. Having this knowledge of fear or the cause of the fear, we keep away from the snake. So that's why we are afraid. The relation, understanding of the meaning of the sentence, not related with the physical thing, it is also mentally. So mentally also, one has a fixed point. He knows this is right. Then only he acts. He knows this is dangerous. Then only he takes precaution or he keeps away. So in that sense, Bhaya Hetu, the sutras which is given here, though it is not fixed physically, but mentally it is fixed in the mind that snake is fearful, dangerous. That is why knowing that we keep away. Sarpa Viveti means he is keeping away from the snake. Why? Because there is a Bhaya Hetu. So in Bhaya Hetu also we get Apadana Sanya. That is why you get Panchami, Sarpa Viveti, Chaurebhyo Viveti. In most of the languages, so modern language, we find the Vivati Panchami is not used sometimes. So पता नहीं हमको इस हम ओडिया में कू यूज करते हैं, वो सांप को डरता है, को यूज करते हैं, लेकिन अंडरलाइंग मीनिंग इज वो सांप से उनका डर है, इसीलिए बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ही इज afraid of snake. So underlying meaning is always there. The syntactic relation is very important. The surface forms varies. It is for the convenience or say influence depending upon the languages. Mostly we follow the vibhaktis based on Prakrit language. So that's why we have many suffixes which are commonly used. I will come to that how differences are made in the grammar. So next is notwithstanding the hardship. So sometimes sometimes you don't like something. so you don't read. So you can say Paraje. So if you are not interested in something or we are not able to understand, we also keep away from that. We say here is the word asodaha, means asahya. Asahya means which is not tolerable, not possible, not understandable. So you take off or not withstanding any hardship. Parajehe asodaha. Parajehe means, so if you have, you are not able to, so adhyayana, that is a reading, then you keep away from reading. So we can just talk and adhyayanat parajayate. So in the sense of, so adhyayanat. Similarly, next you will see that some, these are the some sub varieties which he has provided to understand the meaning of apadana. Next is, so next is you will get this, yeah, please. We have also, yes, please. It's not coming. Next slide is coming. Yes. Here you see Varanarthanam ipsita. Here the word is used Varana. Varana means to protect. Varana, Varanarthanam. So dhatus or the verbal roots which are used to keep away or to ward up, to protect something. So yabebhyo gang bharayati. So he is protecting the yavas. Yava means generally varli we say, but yava also can refer to any crop. So when you are protecting crops from somebody, especially you are protecting the cow or you protecting the crops from the cows. So yabebhyo gang bar. Varanarth. Varana means to protect. And whenever the protection is there, so though they are not physical, so they are also whichever is semantically connected. So the karaka relations, being they are connected semantically only, so these are also applicable to this type of sentences. Otherwise, so question is raised by the commentators after Panini that why, how can you say this? Why you say that these are the different rules? No, whenever you have variations, whether it is physically or mentally, all should be accounted by the grammar. Grammar is to give the total account of the expressions used by the people. So since there are variations for which, that's why he has subdivided into different rules. So that's why in Apadana you get 6-7 rules to indicate what way the Apadana Sangya are available or used also. So that's why you get this, the Vebhyo Gang Bharayati. Next is source of learning, from where you read. From where you get this meaning? Okay, it is in the Veda. From Veda. So similarly, akhyata upayoga. So here the giving is akhyata means again learning. Upayoga means here it is used as upayoga means what you are going to use properly. So that means when you learn something from somebody properly means in a better way, in a legal, by registering your name. So this is upayoga. Upayoga means when you learn something logically, legally. It is a commentator will explain that niyama purvaka vidya shukara. When you are read something based on certain rules, so you have to do a diploma or certificate or university, BA, MA. So these are called niyama purvaka vidya shukara. And when you learn something properly from a teacher, from a guru, so there you get, it is also because you are learning from. So whatever way we know English, the same thing is also used in our languages. And same relation is also there. How Panini has described it is only these are the examples through which we understand that why different sutras, how many sutras you need, it is all according to the adequacy. How much we need, how much difference are there, how many differences are there. It has been taken care of by adding one sub rules where to show that in this context, this apadana can be applied. So that is why source of learning akhyato upayoge upadhyayat adhite. It is, there is a mistake. Adhite, It is not R. Adhite means learns. Okay. Please correct it whenever we will correct it and send you adhite. So upadhyayas adhite means he reads, he learns from the teacher. Okay, so teacher becomes apadana because the source of learning from that. But you can also vedat adhite gyayate. So whatever we learn, that's why you call Veda Mula. From Veda, everything is there. Analysis are there in the Veda Pathas. So we have different Pathas, where Pada Pathas, Krama Pathas, Jata Pathas. Patha represent the splitting of words from the mantra to get the meaning. Mantras have been composed in metrical sense. That's why it is called Chandamaya. Veda is Chanda because there is only meters. Only shlokas are used in Rig Veda. Then these words were analyzed, interpreted by splitting them into parts. That's why it's called Padapata. Then how they are used? Again, Krama Pata. So like that, to study Veda, you need all these pathas to understand. That's why nobody reads Veda, but the very people, because we have to follow that rule. Unless we follow that rule, the meaning will not be understood in the Vedic chantings. So the Upadhyaya Adhite, source of learning. So next, please. So this is how the Apadana is described. These are all. So when you say Akhyata Upayoge, Apadana Sanya Bhavati. When you say Janikartu Prakriti. Another is Janikartu. Prakriti means we know, the source. Prakriti has so many meanings. We interpret. And if you take English words, so many will come. Prakriti also nature. Prakriti is also source. We have Prakriti Pratyaya, no? In grammar, Panini said no. So Prakriti Pratyaya means Prakriti is source. Pratyaya is only added to it to show the different forms of Prakriti. So same Prakriti takes different forms, and this change takes place because these changes are indicated or expressed through the pratyaya. That's why pratyate anena iti. So janikatu prakriti is, so when a source of birth, so when something is born out of that, in that sense, source for the agent. When the verb of sentence is jana, jana dhatu is no jayate, jana dhatu, to be born. So you see this grammar, sorry, gomayat, brushchiko jayate, the scorpion, Vrishchika. You know, Vrishchika Rasi is famous. So Gomaya, from the Gomaya. Gomaya means the cow dung. So the scorpion is born out of cow dung. Gomayat. It is Prakriti, Janikartru. When it's born out of that. So there is one more also, Bhuva Prabha, the same Jana in constant animate beings, but when you come to inanimate, so Bhuvaha Prabhava, Bhu again to be, and Prabha means to get birth, to get out of that. So Bhuva Janma in the same meaning, but with a different verb. So Himavataha Ganga Prabhati. So Ganga is, so what is the source of Ganga? Is Himalaya. So Himalayat. Himavata means Himalayat. Ganga Prabhati. So Ganges, the river Ganges is coming out of, so it is born out of Himalaya. So like this, these sentences which have been used have been coordinated through one semantic relation that is called apadana. So whatever way the sentences are used in a language, so the apadana relation controls so Panchami Vibhakti indicates these apadana relations. But this apadana is of different types, which are listed by Panini in 5-6 sutras to indicate that both that it is physically or mentally. The source can be physical or mental. It is dhruva. Dhruva in the sense it is fixed. So in the mind, everything is fixed. Everything is understood. From that only something comes out. From that only the relations are established. So within the mind itself, in the language, so the language is very natural, it is a natural rule. It is not the rule of Panini. It is Panini only shows. He only gives how it should be understood, how it can be understood. So the wording he has used. So apadana relation is something that is very specific with particular verbs. Janikartru, Akhyata, Upayoge, Akhyata. So like that, Bhitra, Bhaya, Hetu, Bhitra, Artha. So the verbs which are used and the sentence which are structured, They are based on their verbal relation. So it is the verbs, they tell or they indicate only what kind of relation can be obtained or what kind of relations are there, so that we are able to communicate. We can use these sentences not on our own, because there is something mind only tells you this is right, this is wrong, this is apadana, this is not apadana. So there are certain limitations or restrictions. So rules are conditional. There are certain conditions which fix the rules of the language. Based on that, the sentences are reproduced, generated. So unless you have this syntactic relation, we cannot account for the variations among the sentences. We cannot account for the differences in vibhaktis. We cannot use vibhakti according to our choice. I have already told you, it is all decided by the relation between noun and verb, and then expressed at the surface structure, surface level by the markers. That is called the vibhaktis. Okay, so we'll go to the next. Let us see now. So next is actually Sampradhana. So after it is coming, so the sutra is 1432. So 1424 is Apadana. So 24 to 31, all sutras describe the varieties of Apadana. And all they are used with the Panchami Vibhakti. After Apadana, we get Sampradhana. So like Apadana is connected, Panchami is connected with the Apadane Panchami. These sutras are important, linking. The underlying meaning is expressed through Vibhaktis. So there is a link, and this linking is given by the sutra, Vibhakti Sutra, Chaturthi Sampradhane, 2313. So Apadana is 2328. So that is Apadane Panchami. Chaturthi Sampradhana is 2313, because the vibhaktis are given in order. Prathama, Ditya, etc. Sorry, Ditya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, etc. But in case relation only, because of the correct forms, this ordering is made in the correct sections. So definition of karmani, karma. So the Sampradhana is karmana. Can you split? Yam should be separated. Karmana yam abhipreti sa sampradhanam. So here the sentence itself is a sutra itself is a sentence. Yaha yam abhipreti karmana. So whatever you desire. Abhipreti means abhipraya, means our desire. Abhipreti means desiring. Ti pratyaya, same form abhipraya becomes also verb abhipreti. So when you desire something, yam abhipreti, what you want to give something to somebody, when you desire to present something to somebody. How? That's why I say karmana, through the action, through the object. So you have something, you want to give this to somebody. So you have desire somebody in your mind to hand over this thing. You want to give a book to somebody. You want to give your, we say gifting to somebody. So gift, when it is given, purchased, for what purpose? To give somebody. You have desire in your mind. So and this desire through the object, not just like that. Not for yourself. You are desire to give something to somebody, that is a karmana, through the object. With the help of object. Karmana, it is a Tritiya Vibhakti. With the karmana, whom is desire. So with the object, you want to hand over to somebody who is desired, with the person whom you desire to hand over, to offer. Sa Sampradhana. That is Sampradhana. So who is Sampradhana? Who is going to recipient? The recipient, for whom you have desired to give something. So there it is called the Sampradhana. That is why the person or the object, for whom the object of the verb da dhatu is there, we say danarthe chaturthi. It's a very commonly rudi, used in our languages, but we know, I don't know in Hindi, in Odia always danar. So anything you are giving me, forget, it is gone. So it will never come back. That's why I say it is danarthe chaturthi. See, used to. So da dhatu is used basically, a dana we get from da dhatu. So da to give, when it is you are giving something, keeping somebody in the mind, so that gives the Sampradhana Sangya, and once it is Sampradhana relation, there you get Chaturthi Vibhakti, Chaturthi Sampradhane. So example is Upadhyaya Yo Gang Dadati. So he is offering a cow to the teacher because that time they didn't have money, cash, to give the fees. So they used to give either a cow, some animals. They were given in the form of gift to whom they desire actually in that sense. So that they should have their, so there should not be any kind of misunderstanding here. So the payment, so that was a barter system that way. So you teach, you get some cow, some any other animal or some other object that is available. The barter system was there so that we get this. So upadhyaya yo Gam Dadati. So Upadhyaya, being the desired recipient, he gets Chaturthi Vibhakti. And what is the karma here? Gam. So through Gam, he wants the person to be given. So the person who is desired to be given with a particular object, through that object. So it is related, it is karmana abhipraya. It is not by yourself for your purpose. It is the purpose of others. So they gives the cow to a teacher. Next, please. So this is first Sampradhana. Then we have other varieties where you get this. So Sampradhana is also used in the sense of likeness. Now when you like something, how do you use it? So it is, the sutra is called Ruchyathanang Ruchi. Rochate. Ruchadhatu means to like it. Okay, and mostly this Ruchadhatu is used with the, we'll see that with Chaturthi Vibhakti, Ruchyarthanang Priyamanaha, the object that you like. Where is that? Ganeshaya Modaka Rochate. It is a very common, everybody knows. What is that? Now when Modaka is liked by Ganesha, so Ganesha likes it very much. So when the liking verb is used, rochate. So priyamana means who likes it. He gets the apada or sampradhana sangya. That's why Ganeshaya modakaha rochate. This Chaturthi is mostly used in our languages. I hope in Hindi. मेरे को अच्छा लगता है, गणेश को मोदक अच्छा लगता है, ठीक है, इन हिंदी गणेश को अच्छा लगता है, हमारे को अच्छा नहीं लगता, हमको जो अच्छा लगता है हम रखे, मेरे को अच्छा लगता है. The ko suffix used in Hindi in two ways. One is for Ditya, another is for Chaturthi. Same way also in Odia language. But there is a confusion created because of the similarity of this vibhakti form, ko. Certain linguists, they ignore the difference between the two. They say they are one. But semantically, they are not one. Semantically, they are different. Only forms are same doesn't mean they have the same meaning. So it is the meaning that makes difference. So that is why certain linguists, they say there is no sampradhana karaka. Because the marker is same, they will say there is no sampradhana. So it is a matter of understanding those who interpret. Unless you read the language and unless you see the usages. So usages are very clear. They are not same. So because vibhakti markers are same doesn't mean the karaka relations are same. So semantic relations are distinguished. And because Sanskrit is inflectional, it is clearly shown. But in our languages, this has been misunderstood and wrongly interpreted. And they say Sampradhana is not a karaka. Recent theories, recent opinion of the some linguists. As I know in Hindi and Odia, I am not talking about, even it's there in other languages, because they don't know the difference between the syntax and semantics. A morphology comes only because of syntactic meaning. You cannot add something without having relation with the sentence. So these kata, convolution, sampradana, etc., are very distinctively used. These are fixed in the mind. The forms are coming accordingly. The variations of the form doesn't mean the semantic variation, particularly the vibhaktis. So that we will see that. So this is what where, and that's why Sampradana Karaka is not accepted to the modern linguists. But they are wrong in this case, because if you talk of the semantic relation, you cannot take them as one. Markers may be same, and same way, they do not make difference. They do not say this with the, in case of say. Say can be Tritiya, say can be Panchami. Same thing also in Odia language. So the modern grammars written based on linguistic theories are always confusing. That they are, this karaka is not there, that karaka is not there. They're deciding without reading our own grammar properly. So that is all my, just everybody can check in your language when it is used vibhaktis, the karakas, in what way. Markers are one way, relations are the way. So the relations are more important. Semantic difference is there means formal difference is not there mean doesn't mean they are same. So that should be always looked at from the point of view of, that's why the Karaka system is so strict and so conditioned. Unless we understand this, we will not understand whether Karaka relations are. So somebody says 4, somebody says 5, somebody will say 7, but nobody sticks to any number. Why such differences? Because there is a lack of understanding of the system, Karaka system. That is why I am just giving this just to bring to your notice. Please read your grammar. Try to understand whether difference are there or not. How can you say that it is not there without knowing the difference between them? So language is used with differences. So that is why. So you get this ruchiyarthanang. So सबको अच्छा लगता है. It is not Ditya, it is always Chaturthi. How can you say it is Ditya? So kui, सबको अच्छा लगता है, हमको भी अच्छा लगता है. If it is also used in Tamil also. Anaku pudiku. So when you say pudi, I like it, they will say anaku, mean to me. Like ku. Ku is also used in Tamil. So how can you say that ku is only Ditya? So that is why a different understanding of the language should be so clear. So it is Panini has tried to distinguish, bring the unambiguity and explain them separately with a different definition. And in that case, so to understand the relations between the syntactic relations, all in our languages, we have tried to confuse by using the English model or English method. We should know that. That is what only, and we can check, verify how far it is true, how far it is correct. Then another is there, Spurhe Ripsita, again, Puspebhya Spruhayati, earns for the flower mostly. If you come to South, ladies like flowers. That is why, because it is a alankara for them. So that's why puspebhya spruha dhatu. When spruha dhatu is used, so you get sampradana karaka and you get the ipsita. Who is ipsita? Who you wants? So ladies want. That's why it is puspebhya spruhayati, the yarn for the year. So you get this sampradana sanya. Next.
When
Here.
we say not liking, like no rochate, that is also
See,
included in that.
once we form a sentence, gachati, you can say na gachati, gachati, you can, all others are semantic meaning difference. Negation, causation, all these are variations of the basic sentence. We are talking about the basic sentence, rochate. You can add negation, you can add question also, rochate kim, but this relation remains same. Okay. The relation between noun and verb remains same. Only your negation, then you have questions, passivization, causation. All these are the variations of the sentence. But first basic structure of the language is based on these relations. Once these relations are fixed, vibhaktis are fixed, then rocha, the verb can take a negation, causation. All these are possible. That can be done. But that does not change the relation. By negating things, we do not change the karakas. We do not change the vibhaktis. We only change the meaning of the sentence. Roche, mayam rochate, mayam no rochate. But mayam remains. मेरे को अच्छा लगता है, मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता. So na goes with only verb, not with the nouns. So that is why the relation does not change. That we have to see. Whenever we change the meaning of the sentence, that is changed because of the using the semantic factor like negation, causation. These are all difference in meanings only. But structurally, the semantic relations are remain constant. So any sentence we make in any form, the relations are fixed. Six relations are fixed, and they are distinctively used in the language and marked by the vibhaktis. Only in modern languages, because of confusion with the vibhaktis are common to use for certain vibhaktis, they try to say that they are one, not different. So I will talk also when we come to Tritiya also. That same mistakes are made by the uh, our modern linguists. So we that whether it is Odia or Hindi, any language, we Indian languages are very closely following the division, the distinction made by Panini. That's why the Karaka Vibhakti system is not understood by our linguists. So they always confuse. When they write modern grammar, descriptive grammar, they make mistakes. They should understand. My see, is that we must understand our language. We should not confuse. We should not say that this is only two karakas and three karakas. We are not the authority to decide. Give the definition. You have no definition. You are simply following Panini's terminology, karaka. But define first karaka. Then you will know where is karaka, how many karakas. So without understanding the relationship, very scientifically or logically, classification, division is not so easy. You cannot simply say it is four. It is just throwing a stone. Because you are a professor in university, you can talk anything. That becomes a mistake. That misleads our the generation. Our languages are ignored because they are not read properly. Our grammars are not read properly. That is why we are always in our mind is whatever you say in English is correct, whatever we say in our languages. So the modern grammars written based on linguistic theories are always misleading. They do not give the correct picture. They create based on English they are doing because English doesn't have Karak Vibhakti. How can you compare with that? And we cannot do that. So, as scholars in our own language, we must know. We are not taking that something is bad or but really the correctness. Why we study grammar? To understand the correctness of the language. The truth. Why Panini is because see this the way the words are used, the sutras are framed, talking logically. He's talking only logical relations. He's not talking anything that is outside which is talking, which is not imaginary. Nothing is imagination here. But all linguistic theory, they are applying by imagining something without understanding our grammatical structure of our Indian languages. So this way, Karaka is so perfect and so completely he has designed so that once we understand then we can think we can work out that how our languages we can best describe. We should write a separate descriptive grammar that how best we can apply to our Indian languages which is lacking and all these descriptive grammar written by Cardwell for Dravidian languages. So they have always somewhere a gap. They never tell everything explicitly. I have read, gone through. After studying that, I thought we should read our language in our system. Then we can make difference or similarities between languages instead of saying that everything has come from there. We have nothing. So that is all my thing. Let us learn our tradition. Why Indian knowledge system is so important because it is very very logical. We should know what is logic. So Panini only teaches us what is logic. I learned something, if I have learned anything, only through Panini's study. The way he has thought, the way the thoughts are applied or say explained and used the words, that gives you more logical. That you feel that, oh, this word has come from this word, how the meanings are to be interpreted. So that helps us to interpret our language more closely, more perfectly than any other grammar. So Devadattaya Krudhyat. So Krudha Dhatu, angry. When you angry with somebody again, we get the Sampradhana Sangya. So Krudha, Dhruva, Isya. These are the synonymous verbs he has used. So Krudha, Dhruva, Irsya, Asuyarthanam, young Pratikopa, who is The person with whom you have got angry. The person with whom the agent is angry when connected with one of the verbs, any of these, druha, krudha. So either devadataya krudyati, he is angry with devadatta. Irshyati means he jealous of him. Asuyati finds fault with him. Like these are the semantics nuances used by different verbs to indicate. But in with all these verbs, we get this, the chaturthi, so sampradhana and sampradhana, chaturthi sampradhane. Okay, next please. This is Sampradhana. Now we come to Karana, which is the most, if I saw Vyakarana, the word is derived from with this Karana. Karana. Vyakarana. Vyakarana is B Upasarga. It is used in Sangita, in Upanishads. So in Taittiriya Sangita, this is explained. I gave in the beginning. So once you know that the Karana means instrument. Why it is instrument? So this is literal meaning. That is the etymological meaning. Kridhatu. Kridhatu. Anna pratyaya, lived pratyaya. Karana lived. There is a sutra I had given you that earlier. That is Karana adhikarana yoho lived. Lived pratyaya is used for in the krudhatu in the sense of instrument. Kriyate anena iti karana, with which you do the things. So anything that we are using to do, that is called the karana. So instrument, so without instrument, nothing can be done. So that is why karana, and B upasarga means visheshena. A means completely, asamanta. So that which is done completely, perfectly is vyakarana. Vyakarana means which describes things completely, perfectly, visheshena. So vyakarana, vyakarana, kridhatu, vyakriyate sa. So analysis is given. It is used in, but in beginning, if you read the Subramania's book, in the beginning also he has explained this. He has brought the source where it is used first, crew, how division started in analyzing the language from Sangita period, then how Patanjali brought it. Every history is there. If you read that, you will understand that. So this is what Karana, Vyakarana. So Karana is instrument. So there is no grammar in India which doesn't use the word Vyakarana, particularly major Indian and Dravidian languages. And one difference only, an exception, it is in Tamil they call it Ilakkana. You should know that Ilakkana is again like from Sanskrit Lakshana. The Lakshana in practice it is Ilakkana. E is added in Tamil. I don't know Kannada and Tamil. You can also verify. Ilakkana also. So it is Patanjali who has given first Lakshya, Lakshanam, Vyakarana. What is Vyakarana? Paninian has not defined. He has not used word like that. But he has only, this is only traditional. They try to understand, give the meaning. So that is what he gives Lakshana. Lakshya, Lakshanam, Vyakarana. Vyakarana means which includes Lakshya and Lakshana. Lakshana means definition. Lakshya means the target language, the object, the prayoga. So if your definition goes with the prayoga, the usages, the data, then it is a correct grammar. That is grammar. Grammatical rule, grammar is rule. The rule, that is a rule only when the definition goes with the object language or the prayogas. So that is how this is called the Vyakarana. The objective is purely analytical and the rules, you frame the rules in such a way that it should apply to the Lakshya. So Lakshya means the target language, the data which we have before us. If it can be explained, described properly and defined properly, then it is a correct grammar. That is why Lakshya, Lakshanam, Vyakarana. Vyakarana means nothing else, Lakshya and Lakshana. There should be data, there should be rules. The rules must go with the data, describe it completely, adequately. Then only it is a good grammar. This was the principle laid down by the grammarians. That when you write a rule, think twice. So Lakshya and Lakshana always to be used in such a way that, so your rules should not have any doubt. We should not create any doubt. You can only keep the clarity up in the explaining the relations. So Kartru Karana, your Trutya Vibhakti used for Karta and Karana 2318. Now how the Karana is defined? Yes, it's Sadhagatamam Karana. So here something here is Sadhaka Tama and Tara Pratyas are used for comparison. Tara Tama Purugha Panini has used a sutra. So tarap and tama pratyas are used for comparison. They are superlative, comparative degrees are there. No, degrees in Tamil, sorry, English. Or we are using tarap and tama. Sundara tara means more beautiful. Sundara tama is most beautiful. So more and most we get with the tara and tama pratyaya. So sadhaka tama the most effective means. What is most? We have everything is a means through which we act something. But among the objects, so there are sometimes most effective object. That means without which you cannot do the work. Without which we cannot do the work. So there is a difference. So that's why we'll explain that. So you, the most effective means in achieving an action is called sadhakatamam. Sadhaka here is used as sadhaka. Though the word karaka is also synonymous to sadhaka, but here sadhaka is used in the case of because functioning or completing any work which is most important. That is called the sadhakatamam karanam. That gets the karana sangya. And this example he gives, asina chinnati. Asi means it can be sword, it is knife also. So knife cuts. Or it is cutting with the knife. So when you are using cutting is not possible without an instrument. Most effective means. So what is most without which nothing can, the cutting cannot be done. Asina chinnati. Yeah. Next you give examples. I will give that. And this is a varieties. I will show that formations at the only surface level. Relations, the karana is a syntactic relation that exists between the noun and the verb in a so it can be anything that with which what do you call that? You move. So sakatena gacchati. So with trutya, so karana trutya. Wherever trutya vibhakti used in relation to the verb, it takes the karana karaka. Or the karana karaka is expressed through trutya vibhakti. So syntactic relation and the deep relation and the surface relation. So whatever deep and surface structures relations are explained are very clearly stated in the Karaka section. So when you read, the Subramaniam sir has written that article, if you read Indian Linguistics volume 36, here it is written deep structure and surface structure in Panini, that you will show that how the relations are so much projected from the deep level, how the forms are, explained, the forms are logically arranged and used in the language so that you cannot make a mistake in Sanskrit language. If you know the rules, you cannot make a mistake in Sanskrit. But we make mistake because we do not follow the rules. So we get confused. But if the rules once you know, you cannot make mistake. And nobody can also find mistake with you. That is how ensured by Ostadhyay. Panini's rules are such. It neither makes you to make a mistake nor anybody can find mistake with you. Because rules are such, the way it has been designed and ordered, that tells us the descriptive adequacy of Panini, the logical descriptive explanatory adequacy is self-explanatory. The rules are so much, so precise and arranged so that we never get any misconnection or misdirection. So it only directs you properly in the right order, in the right manner. This is, but this, in the, as I told you, in the surface form, variations are possible. Same karaka can be also used with the, can be exchanged depending upon the verb. This is also very common in our Indian languages. In Hindi and Odia, I know very well. I'll give a, now you see, suppose here we are using what? Akshan dipyati, akshehi dipyati. He plays dice. Okay now? When you say he plays dice, वो खेलता है ना, वो बॉल खेलता है. बॉल खेलता है कि बॉल के साथ खेलता है. दो अर्थ निकलता है. दो relations are possible. Same thing also we use in English also. He's playing the ball and he's playing with the ball. Are they same or different? This sutra tells you when you come to Divyadi play, it has two roles. So one is the object, the karma, another is the karana. Because we are using, when you are using this, so you just, when you are saying that the child is playing the ball, whether he is playing the ball or he is playing with the ball. If nobody is there, he is playing with the ball. If he is playing with others, he is playing the ball. So the ball is object when you are using with somebody else. And when you are playing with yourself, so it is becomes an instrument. So most desired object, sadhagatamam. So in case, this is the root. Depending upon the root, the relation also varies. So these semantic relations, syntactic relations are named karana, and so in case of Dibya, so the karana also gets sometimes karma sanya. When with verb like play, dibya, dibyati to play. So when you are using the word play, the verb, the object that is used can take both karma and karana. So you get both tritiya and ditya vibhakti. So when he is playing the ball and playing with the ball makes a difference syntactically, semantically. So that is why both are allowed. It is not for Sanskrit. When you say Dibya Dhatu or say play, we get these two types of relation. That's why you say Dibaha Karma Cha, the 43 tells you that Dibya Dhatu Prayoge Karana Sanya, Karma Sanya Api Bhavati. So Karana relation also is used as karma. So the meaning relation, how it is possible? No, because so it is the verb which allows two types of relations. If you are playing of your own, you are playing with the ball. If you are playing with others, he is playing the ball. Okay, so that is how Divaha Karmacha gives us the two-way explanation. Another dhatu is here is Parikrana. So Parikrane Sampradhanam Anyatarashyam. Anyatarashyam is a word used by Panini for optionality. He has used three words, Ba, Vibhasa, Anyata. You have seen in Samasas, the Adhikara Sudra, Vibhasa. Everything is optional. So whether it is Samasa Pada, Samasta Pada or Vigrahavakya, both have the same meaning. But one can use samasa, one can use sentence. There is no restriction in that, but both are possible and both are linked. So samasa is coming from sentence, is linked, it is their rule. So both can be used. Either samasa used, so there is no hard rule, only samasa should be used or only. It is a choice of the speaker. Anyatarashyam tells again optionally. What is optionally? Now parikrana. Parikrana means to purchase. When you purchase something, in purchasing also, same thing we are using in our languages today also. So you see that when you purchase something, with huge you purchase, in that you get optionally. That is, once you get tritiya, another you get chatu. Here it is sampradhanam, and previously it was karma and karana. Here it is sampradhana and karana. How? The example, you just see that. So Satena Parikritaha Satayava Parikrita. He hired 100 pieces. So hired for 100 pieces. So there are usages in our languages also. I purchased it for this much. Or you purchased with this much money. You purchased it by paying this much, or you purchased it for this. So this is a use as in all our languages. In Odia, we have given examples. I once said, so what do we say? Chaturthi. So here we have, हिंदी में शायद है, I just don't remember. So मैं 100 रुपया दे के खरीद किया, 100 रुपया को खरीद किया. हम भी दो यूज करते हैं ओडिया में है. 100 टंकारे किनेला by paying 100 rupees. 100 टंकारे, रे is तृतीया. 100 टंका को किनला. So he purchased it for 20. So here it is Chaturth, Sampradhana. So people say there is no Sampradhana. Then how will you use this? 100 रुपया को खरीद किया, 100 रुपये क्या पे खरीद किया, तो दोनों का एक कैसे हो सकता है? So who cannot be object there? It is always for. So this is what every language, but it is natural. This is a logical structure of the language, syntactic structure that allows the variations within the sentences in the expression of any language. It is not only restricted to Sanskrit. So this is what the words, sentences we are still using in Sampradhana, in Chaturthi and thing, but it has been confused. Sampradhana is not there. Then how can you describe these sentences? How it can be explanation can be given. So it is all to understand that when we say X is there or not, we must know what is X exactly, what is its role, whether the role is important or the form is important. So underlying relations are always the base on which basis the forms are used. Forms may change, forms can vary according to the context, according to, but the relation cannot change. No, how can you deny the relations? So six relations which are fixed are very still truly applicable to our languages that we should understand. So I'm giving this introductory that how, but when we work on this, we'll find that how the sentences structures, as many sentences we know, how it can be brought under these six relations. So whether it is in Odia or Hindi or Gujarati, Indian languages are strictly following, adhering. Only at the formal difference, that is at the macro level, we get many differences. But micro level, our languages represent only one structure and one rule that is designed by Panini's rule. That is all my always opinion to show that I can justify, we can prove, we can verify, explain, compare, but follow the rule. That should be a model, that should be a method. See the methodology that is used by him to explain the relations between sentences. How many sentences we use, whether it is in Sanskrit or in our languages, how it is controlled, how mind controls it, how the language is generated. It is a more important for Panini than just talking of Sanskrit. He has only used in Sanskrit language, but he is never saying it is only for Sanskrit. So Satena Satayava Parikritaha. Next. So this is what Sampradhana and Karana. Karana has alternative. This is what most important is Adhikarana. Adhikarana is generally called the locus adhikriyate, which occupies. Anehena, that is called Adhikarana. So this Karaka is expressed and it is used by Saptami Vibhakti. Seventh case. So case is not for us. That's why I say Vibhakti Saptami Adhikarane. 2, 3, 36. So what is definition? What is Adhikarana? Adharaha Adhikaranam. How the Karakas relations are described, defined. Adhara Adhikaranam. This Adhara is called locus. So when you use something in something, that becomes Adhara. Without locus, how can you work? How can you function? So that is why Adhara is called, it is simple. We know Adhara. Adhara means what? The base. So when some action takes place in a particular base, in a particular place, so it is called Adhara. And whichever is Adhara, it always takes Saptami. Okay, so locus is always an activity in the locus. Sthalyam pachati means he is cooking in a pot. Sthalyam. Sthali is stilinga, dirgha ikara. That's why you get am, sthalyam. Otherwise, for the masculine akaranta, you get gruhe asti. He is at home. Grame basati. He is living in a village. Grame. A is actually vibhakti in akaranta pumilinga. But if it is ikaranta, akaranta, they take yam. Am is added for saptami ekavachana. So sthalyam pachati because it's thali. If you use patra, patre pachati, it can also be. So the word saptami, the vibhakti saptami is used in connection with the adhara. So adhara, adhikaranam and adhikarane saptami, saptami adhikarane cha 2, 3, 36. So next is, if you will see this thalyam pachati, so he is cooking in the pot. So English in, on and at. All these are used with one vibhakti. For us, it is saptami vibhakti that is used in all our languages. Next, please. Next, please. So the vibhakti saptami. So now how many adhikaranas? So adhikaranas are also 3 types. Can you just show it? Next. Oh, sorry. Adhikarana, we have basically in sentences who make difference by the commentators. I will just give. So you know that, no? You can say he's sleeping on the mat. When you say sleeping on the mat, where in the whole of the mat or one side? So it is a kote aste. Kota means mat. Kote aste means he's sleeping on one side. It is called upasarasika. So the difference are made by the, and but suppose we have some time. Mokshe icha asti. He has great desire in emancipation. So this is object which are also abstracted. So Saptami Vibhakti is used for all the levels, for all the purposes in sense of Adhara. So Adhara here means for which we survive or for which you live. Why you live? Suppose you say moksha prapti. So we say mokshe icha asti. So wherever Saptam Vibhakti used is explained and it is always represents Adhara, but this Adharas has been understood by the coming in different interpretation according to the context. They have given the interpretation which are there in the Ashtadhyayi, in the commentaries in Kasika and other places examples are there. So most now we'll come to this object which is the most very important for understanding the languages. So karma is the object, the most desired object. This is expressed and it is always by karmani ditya. Ditya vibhakti is used for expressing the relation of karma. And this is always conditioned by anavihite. We had seen active and passive. Anavihite karmani ditya. So all these karakas, relations, are expressed through vibhaktis, but these vibhaktis are used only when they are in the relation of expressed or unexpressed. So that's why I say Ramaha Gramam Gacchati. So it you are get ipsitam, kartuhu ipsitam. So definition is kartuhu ipsitamam karma. So what is most desired by the agent? Kartu is the agent which is most desired is the object of the God. So that is why Ramaha Gramam Gacchati. So he goes to the village. So it is what is happening. The village is the object of his goal or a goal to reach. So that's why it is Gramam Gacchati. So you get Ditya Vibhakti. Anavihite Karmani Ditya. If it is Avita, you will get Prathama. That's why we had active passive relations where these karma transitive verbs which are called sakarmakas. There is always object. Because of the object only, we get two types of sentence like active and passive. Okay, Ramaha Gramam Gacchati. Next please. So next now this karma has been defined and described, divided by Bhartrhari in his Vakyapadya. You know this, Bhartrhari has only first explained the whole sentence structure, all types of, he has given 8 types of sentence definitions. He has used in Vakyapadya, Vakya Kanda. So there are 3 kandas. One is Brahma Kanda. First one talks about Dhvani, Spota, Artha, Sabda, etc. their relations. Then in Vakya Kanda, the second Kanda, Vakya Kanda, only on Vakyas. What Vakya means, how many types of Vakyas, what are their relations, how things, like definitions, everything is detailed description is there. And the Padakanda, the third one is all types of Padas are philosophy, and all are written in poetry in the Shloka form. So there are 2000 shlokas written to describe the grammar of philosophy. The philosophy of grammar first found in shloka form in 7th century AD by Bhartrhari, who has written. Now what he has done? He has made this karma into 3 types. One he says nivartya karma. Nivarte, what is created? That which is created. Katam karoti, you are making a mat. So mat was not there, only grass you were there. From the grass you are making. So a new form is coming out. So that is called the nirvartya. Nirvartya, that which is created. It's a vikarya, something which is changed into another form. That is modification. Suvarnam kundalam karoti. So the suvarnakara, that is swarnakara. Okay, we say sonar or suni, we say sonari in India, we say that. Sonar, I think, in Hindi and thing. So what they do? They change the gold into kundala. Kundala means the earring. Okay, so if there is a change, you get a new form. From same gold, they make to ring. That is why you call Suvarnam Kundalam Karoti. This is called Bikarya. Bikarya means, I had told you, Lopo, Agama, Bikara are the 3 main dimensions, 3 levels the language change. Any change takes place, either it will be Lopa or Agama or Bikara. Bikara is modification, Lopo is deletion, and Agam is insertion. So a vikarya, artha is also there. Vikarya, that where when something changes to something, subarnam kundalam karoti. Another is prapya. Prapya means prapya karma, means that where you reach some place. So placial. It is special relation that when you reach something, it is called prapya. That's why adityam pashyati. You are able to see sun, sees the sun. He sees the sun. He reaches the village, gramam gacchati. So when he reaches something, reach out, there it is called we get the prapya karma. So karma, which are used by Panini only gives the basic definition, the basic relations. But all these examples and divisions and classifications are explained by the commentator. That's why the Paninian tradition, because what Panini said has been continued and explained vigorously from time to time to justify that the word used by him in the Sutra are logical, scientific, and everlasting. It is very difficult for them to change. They could not change because they have been formed in such a way, they has been composed in such a way. The tones are so selected so that they are not able to change the wordings of Panini Sutra. That's why the sutras remain intact without changing anything. Okay, so next we'll see that. Next, please. See, so these are other things we are giving, tatha yuktam, another thing. So there are three types of karma, Panini indicates. One is ipsita tama karma, that is gramam, which is most desired. But there are also sometimes objects which are not directly connected with the verb, but desired by the person. So example, that is tatha yuktam. Tatha yuktam means with that connected with the main object. It is not separate. So sometimes with the object, another object is connected. For that we see, even it is not a desire. Okay, anipsitam. Even it is not anipsitam, but it is ipsita. So connected with the main object, main ipsita, that is also we take ditya or karma sanya. Example, you see this, Bisham Bhakyati. When you say that he takes a poison, is it desire? So these sentences are also justified. However, he says, why he says tathayuktam chanipsitam? No, tathayuktam connected, but anipsitam. But it is not actually desired by him, but he is taking for some other reason. So there are different interpretation. But Bisham Bhakyati, nobody acts likes it is not ipsita. But still, you get Ditya Vibhakti when it is used to show that in certain conditions, certain context, Bisham is a nowadays it is coming, suicide is coming. So Bisham Bhakyati. So that word is used. Choran Pashyati. He sees the thieves. Even you don't want. You don't want to see but still people nowadays more interest to see the choras. So you get in the medias. So Gramam, so actually this Anipsita, how directly connected is given this. So this sentence is given by Patanjali. That is Gramam Gachan Brucha Mulani Upasarpati. When you are going to village, a long distance, you are walking. When you are walking, what you are doing? You are going to the root of the tree for some rest, for sit for 1 second, just to take rest. So Gramam Gachan, while going to the village, Bruksha Mulan means you are going to the root of the tree. For what? Just to have a little rest, or even they say that, Parnam Patati, you can also plucking some flower, taking something, what is falling on the road. If your main desire to reach the village, while reaching the village, whatever comes in between, whatever you see something new or say liked by you, you try to touch it. So that's why while going to the village, he touches the root of the tree. Touches here means either you reach that, sit for some time. We take rest in general practice that when we go to long distance in villages, we used to sit on the bridge. At that time there was no bridge, so we used to sit on the some under the tree, because so that you will get a little shade. So it's that. Yes, okay. So next is we'll come to that. Next, please. So we'll try to Next, please. Next is actually it is coming now. The last one is the Vivaha Karmacha, this is all we think. Now, there is one more Karta. This is a very special thing how Panini has given that. This sutra, he says, Akatitancha. Akatita means, which is 1451. Akatita means what? So here the interpretation is given. So the case relations has been already expressed, Apadana, Sampradhana, Adhikarana, Karana. Four are already explained. So here the akatha means not expressed. Now vihita, anavihita. Now ukta, anukta, all are synonymous. So akadita karma is a one type of karma which are not expressed by them by the previous rules. That is apadana, sampradhana, karana and adhikarana are not. They are different types. So what is not explained by them or covered by them, so whatever remains is called akadita karma. But this is actually a case where you have the double objective. That is what we call the dikarmaka. We call the ditransitive. Ditransitive means dikarmaka. Two objects involved with certain verbs which take two objects, two karmas. So this is called dikarmaka. This is what used as akatitancha by Panini. And Panini has simply said akatitancha. Now Patanjali only has explained. He has brought a shloka vartika. Means earlier people used to explain everything in shloka form. Many things were combined, they were put together to remember certain things. The shloka, this is called shloka vartika. The shloka, which is used in the form of a vartika, means some suggestion given by somebody, some grammarians, which he has tried to put them as an example for the sutra. So there is a lot of discussion in Mahavashya, but the examples will show that these are only the double objective construction, that is ditransitive. That is dikarmakas. We say dikarmaka. Which are these verbs? Duhadhatu to milk. Gam dogdhi paya. It milks the milk, the cow. Now question is, when you say the milk in the cow, what is milking? Do milk only. No? So you have two objects involved with duhadhatu, which is used with the ditya vibhakti. Gam and payaha. Paya also milk. It is also here. It is because it is neuter. Prathama ditya are same. Payaha also object. So gam and payaha dogdhi. So both he is milking the cow and milking the milk. Both actions simultaneously. He is milking the cow or means milking the milk from the cow. Actually it should have been, though it is understood. But he is milking the milk and milking the cow, so that he is doing his job. So we have certain constructions where you have the two objects. Then you have yacha. Now pauravam gang yachate. He begs a cow. Two paurava begs paurava a cow. Paurava means the Puru king. So he is asking a cow. So when you ask something, here yacha means to ask, to beg. But in, I don't know, in Hindi, in Odia it is opposite meaning. You offer, not begging. Yachiva means to offer, but I don't know in other language. Yacha dhatu. Yacha means actually to beg. Yacha mogha varamadigone nadhame Kalidasa is using that. So begging, so it is there. So paurabam kam. So whenever the word is yacha, to beg, you get two objects. Ruddha, similarly, ruddha means together, to collect and to bring them on in one place. Brajam abarunadhi gam. Braja means the cow herd. The cows are collected or gathered by the cow herd boy in Braja. Braja means the cow herd where it is, which is a goshtha. Goshtha means where the cows are kept or put together. At the time of grazing, they bring them together. Next, the cows enter the cow shed. So that is called the Brajam. Pracha, it is a common word. Pusta hai. तो क्या पूछता है, किसको पूछता है? So both are object. Two karmas are there. So there is a manavakam panthanam. Here he said, he asked the boy the way. He is asking the way, asking the boy. What he is asking? So verbs like this have double accusatives. That's why I call ditransitive. So these are the verbs. They allow the karmas, two karmas to be used in connection with the particular verbs. This is called the karmakas. Pracha, to ask. Similarly, chi, to collecting, etc. I will not read it. You will read it. Then we will go to now, because time is, because it's a very vast thing. I am just giving an introduction to show that how the relations has been explained. Chi is to China. That now this is also a sutra which tells you that I told you other day, a non-causative agent becomes object in the causative form. I get the examples. You can see this. The boy goes to the village, but the father makes the boy to go to the village because he is there in the outside, so he doesn't want to go. So he makes him to go. So what is there a karta in the non-causative sentence? We call anyanta. Ani means no ani. Nijanta is used for causative. Ni pratyaya. It's why it's called nichi. So that's why nijanta. Nijanta means always causative suffix. The verb gets causative form by using the suffix nich. Crew, we get kari, so we get a karayati. I had given you in causative form, but still we can again repeat. It is a practice. So this what happens? The non-causative agent become object in the causative constructions. With these verb gati, gati means to move. Buddhi, pratyavasanartha, sabda. These are the verbs with which the non-causative agent becomes object karma in the causative sentence. So this is how this sutra explained that even how non-causative form like Ram is going, Hari makes Ram to go. Na? So they are the same construction, same structures are available in every language. But we should understand, it is only to show how much Panini has observed minutely the differences among the sentences and how the structures of sentences have been explained and the relations that he has taken note of and try to give the best. So we do not find something new in our languages, but rather we find, oh, what is said, whether he has said it causative, non-causative, decision, how he has managed, how he has observed, how minutely he has done that. So next we'll see this now. This is only to show that how many ways he has observed the language and its usages. So this is the last one. It comes at the end, karta, because karta is pradhana. That's why after giving specific permission to everybody, he is coming here last saying that the karta is agent. So this is what always agent, no subject. That's why we have used. This is expressed by tritiya vibhakti again. Kartu karana yo tritiya. So karta and karana are both used in tritiya vibhakti. But karta is defined as swatantra karta. Here the word swatantra is very important for us. So that is the how the discussion in the case grammar, that how subject and agent is a misleading in understanding the structure of the language, because subject and agent, the big difference was made by Fillmore by saying that the only animate beings can become the agent and non-animates, inanimates will become the subject. But that is not always true. That is why Panini has given the definition as swatantra. Anybody, any karaka, any object that is considered by the speaker as independent is karta. It is speaker's choice. It is speaker's choice that how you are going to present it. So you can say Devadatta Pachati, Devadatta cooks. You can say also Thali Pachati, no? So pot cooks. What makes the difference? Subject wise both are same. It is understood, meaning is understood. Both are karta that way. And both are independent. Independent in sense because they take the suffix. There is agreement, samana adhikarana. So Devadatta is third person singular. Sthali is also third person singular. So that way both are same. No, how can you distinguish? So grammatically both are same. Semantically also they are swatantra. So that is why Devadatta Pachati and Sthali Pachati both are, it is all given by Patanjali in his Mahavashya. He has given these examples and explained. And the sutra is made by why Swatantra? So you see that in all the Karaka Sutras, the first semantic condition is Swatantra. If there is a Swatantrata, only in relation to the verb, that which is independent, who can perform the action independently. If Ram can cook, but pot also should cook. No? If pot does not cook, how can you cook? So sthali, what is the use of sthali? Sthali pachati only, no? How do you identify it? It is pratipadika, it is swatantra. So sthali is known for cooking. So without cooking, no sthali. So that is why sthali is swatantra in expressing its own meaning. That is, it is a locus. It is an object in which you cook. So that is why sthali pachati, devta pachati. Examples given in Filmer is pen writes, sorry, the key opens the door and Ram opens the door. Which one is, how can you make difference there? So how can you say agent is only can be passivized, not the. So there was a, that is why the controversy started. That's why the sutra was very much quoted. The Swatantra Karta is important because it is only his student, that is Cook. He only in 1980, after 1968, he wrote a film or wrote this case grammar, and in 1980, his student Cook showed that this is all based on Panini's grammar, and this case, this inanimate any difference is not acceptable to English also. So that is why he said that these are all very much close to Panini's grammar. That is how Swatantra Karta. Swatantra is important in the sense that is called the Sthali Pachati. Both can be sentenced. All can give the meaning, no? We get the meaning. So they are structured. They are syntactically and semantically related. So both, nobody can be denied. So nothing is ungrammatical. Both are grammatical. Both are semantically connected. So that's why they are called the Swatantra Karta. This is all. Give it next, please. Next, what is there? Yes. So this karta, we have also as hetu karta, tat prayojaka. We have prayojaka, as I told, the causative sentences. What happens? We get one karta becomes object in the causative. So another karta enter, no? That is called prayojaka karta. Prayojaka means which makes something to or somebody to do something. So one is prayojaka, hetu. So he is also called hetu. Hetu is the cause. So devadattaha yajnadattena or yajnadattam katam karayati. So he is making, so the Yajnadatta making mat. But Devadatta Yajnadattam karayati. So makes Devadatta, Yajnadatta to make the mat. It can be Yajnadattena, it is Yajnadattena or Yajnadattam. So this is, so Devadatta is Prayojakarta. So one makes or causative agent, what he said. So this is what the structurally the sentences which are used have their relational or the syntactic relations in such a way that the semantic is the basic factor on which basis the sentences are used. Without meaning difference, nobody uses anything. The change takes place only when you are conveying a meaning, whether it is syntactic meaning or it is a grammatical meaning. You cannot always use lexical meaning, here does not play any role. So here is the grammar, the structure in which the meanings of the words or the sentences are clearly understood by the mind. So that is why these relations are used by the mind, and these are fixed by Panini as six. So that's why the six karakas which remains or which are used at the base, on which basis all the changes, the sentence formations come into existence without creating any doubt. So it is unambiguously the sentences are into. That is how tradition was able to read, follow. Otherwise, Mahavashya would not have been written, nor Vakya Bodhya could not have been written. So many works which have followed later on till 18th, 19th century, they represent that the wording used, the words used by Panini in his Karaka roots cannot be changed, or in any route. So the words were used by him very judiciously and logically so that they were not able to change it. So that was how it is, only to see how far it is complete, how far it is adequate, how far it is perfect, which has been taken by Bloomfield in the beginning is a perfect grammar, a complete grammar. We are only taking the different aspects, how Panini has covered all aspects, which has been now discussed in linguistics. These are the different aspects of language, how Panini's grammar has covered and how Panini has been able to stand even without any change by the tradition. So that is all how this Karaga theory of Panini is important for us to understand and to read. That is one. So, okay, so any question, anything? So, any doubt, please?
I have a question about this cooking in the pot.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we are saying cooking in the pot is the locus of the activity, adhara.
Yes.
In the pot is not cooking. The rice is being cooked in the pot. So
So
why
that is
can't we
why.
use the adhikarana?
So I will give one.
Yeah.
So that is why Sthalyam Pachati is correct. That is when. So how it is used now? Patanjali gives one, comparison. So he gives one example in his Mahavashya that it is also given in the note of Joshi's. You will get in Mahavashya translate. What happens? He gives an example of the king and its ministers. Okay, when there is a meeting, when king is present, the ministers are dependent. So king is independent. King, when the king is there, pradhana. When king is present, ministers are subsidiary or they are subservient or you can say they are dependent. They have nothing of their own. But when king is absent, the ministers are independent in their own field. So it is just like that. When Ram is cooking rice in the pot, when the Pradhana Karta is present, so that's why they make Pradhana Apradhana. So everyone can be Karta. That is why Patil also used the word Karma Kartari, Adhikarana Kartari. Why? No, because this Karma Karta, all of the Karakas can be represented as Karta. Why? Because they are used to independent for their own action. See, if there is thali pachati and if thali does not cook, why what thali is? Thali exists for this function. It has its own function of cooking or holding. Unless pot is correct or competent to for cooking, you cannot use it. So Ram cannot cook without pot. If pot does not cook, how Ram will cook? So cooking is connected with both. Only difference is when Pradhana Karta is present, they become Apradhana. That's why Anabhite, Tritiya, Anabhite, all these vibhaktis are applied. But when they are Avihita, so Sthali Pachati, Sthali is Avihita here. Because if it is Avihita, you take Prathama. So that is Karta. So karta is swatantra in its own way. So when it is joined with other karta, one becomes dependent on the other. So the examples when Rama say Gramad Agatya Rama Brahmanaya Kashtai Pachati. So you can say Kashtani, even wood does not burn. Can you cook? So Kashtani Pachanti. So Swatantrata is given that when the speaker wants. What do you mean by thali? It cooks. What do you mean by pen? It writes, whether it is a sentence or not. The question is sentence. Whether it is a sentence. So to make a sentence, we must have a condition. What is that? It should be swatantra. In the sense, swatantra when it is used alone, it is swatantra. When it is used with others, it becomes also. Because of the others, it is also. Otherwise, it has its own swatantra. So independence is considered in terms of relations. If it is existing, if there is a pen, what does pen for? So pen writes. Thali cooks. So these are the basic struct sentences which are used for every object. So everything is identified. They represent their own character. They have their own character. But when you are joining with somebody else, you lose your ownness. But you are there. But only your independence is lost. When there is somebody higher up. We know that without an animate being you cannot cook, but even the pot does not is in a position to cook. Why? How you will cook? So that is the idea of dependence and independence, which is assigned by the swatantra. So it is speaker's desire, vivakya, vivakya karakani bhavan. That's why the vivakya is a very term or say logical term used in the grammar. The grammarians have explained that without it is a speaker. Whether you can say gacha or tuang gacha. Whether you can say gachati or saha gachati. It is all option. It is given, it is speaker's choice. But grammatically, speaker has no ear. In case of tuang, you cannot say patati. You have to say patasi. So their grammatical rule is very, very strict. But when only it comes to speaker, how he presents, independently or dependently. But Swatantra is everybody has Swatantra, but they become Aswatantra only in particular context. When in a group, you may not have your Swatantra, but your Swatantra is ensured that without pot you cannot cook. So that is the idea of Swatantra used, and that's why Patanjali gave this example of king and its ministers, that how they are independent and dependent in both ways. They are related to each other. Yes. Yes, please. Yes, Gopabandhu, any example? So I am trying to say that how Paninian, you know, viewed this thing, how grammar is conceived by him, how types of rules he has framed, how wordings are there, how it is applicable even today to our languages. Whenever we have any doubt, we can follow it, we can understand. If we understand it, we can distinguish, we can differentiate in our own language itself. The sentence structure which are common. It is nothing new or something only specific to one language. So no one is independent. So but the sentence structure is concerned, the syntactically all Indian languages. That's why the Caldwell and others they have written grammars only to show one side only. So my aim is we should write a one grammar for all languages so that micro level, the relations, the grammatical structure, syntactic structures and meaning are same for us, particularly Indian languages. We have similar. So SOB is sentence, subject, object, and verb is the only order, and how the vibhaktis are used very meticulously in our languages. We can have a better understanding if we read ours. It is idea is to read our own thing. Let us see that how far it is complete or how far it is logical and why we should learn it. That we should understand how Panini is important for us, our Indian languages. Yes, any question? Mandavi, Shobra, linguists should ask if any, but let us read. So I have given the PPTs, or you can follow, you can read it anytime, any doubt. Please ask me so
Sir,
that.
I have started reading it now, sir, finally. We were busy with
So that
semester
is good.
examination and correction of copies.
Okay,
So
good, good.
now we have some time, so sir, I will start
Yes,
reading.
sure, sure. Please, please. So that is how I am just giving an outline that
Yes, sir.
what is there, and how
Yes, sir.
it is there, and
Yes,
how
sir.
we can follow it, or to what extent we can use for our language. And always read the grammar of your language, written in your language, not in English. If you read,
Yes, sir.
say, Tamil grammar in Tamil, Hindi grammar in Hindi, Kannada grammar in grammar, please read even the ancient grammars are most important because
Sir,
they,
I
yeah.
want to ask you one thing, sir.
Mm.
Uh, when we talk about these like deep structure and surface structure,
Yes.
as Chomsky tells us that if we have to come to the surface structure, then certain transformational rules are applied in
Yes,
1965.
yes, yes,
So, sir, is there a? I tried to find it out in the speech of learners who are learning English as a second language.
yes, yes,
And, sir, I was able to find out also to some extent.
yeah.
But is it possible to do the same kind of thing with Sanskrit language also?
No, no, that's why I told we don't have a transformation because our
Yes.
is base and the marker. Okay, we have
Yes, sir.
vibhaktis, no? They are
Yes.
directly connected.
Yes, sir.
See, so karta is explained by Tritiya, Ramena. So the vibhaktis which are used, so because our system is inflectional, because
Yes,
we
sir.
are using karak and vibhakti,
Yes,
actually
sir.
in our language, because our orders are not fixed, like English.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We did not worry. It is
Yes.
for English, it is applicable. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But for us, it is not applicable.
Yes,
Transformation, derivation, the words we are using only to make understand. Otherwise,
yes,
we do not have transformation because they have a particular place in C passive construction. There is a transformation. No, what
yes,
is
sir.
happening? The subject go to the last place and the object come to the first place.
Yes, sir.
So instead of changing the place, we are using Prathama Vibhakti. Abhita,
Yes, sir.
Anavita will explain everything. See, when things are very flexible and easy for us to communicate, why
Yes.
we should go to that stage where, because English is a fixed order language, they need transformation derivation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's
They
what I
have
was
the
thinking
notion of
yesterday.
basic and derivation. Ours,
Yes,
everything is basic. If you know
yes,
the Prakriti, you understand. So the Prakriti Pratyaya relations, Karakabhyuti relations only speak that
yes,
they are not question, transforming only technical word they are using. But we are saying deep structure surface. Karaka is deep and Vibhakti is a surface. That's all, no?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
you transform also, but
Yes.
not by changing the place.
Yes, sir. That's what
Only
I
in
was
the
thinking, sir. Yes, sir.
exactly,
Yes, correct.
exactly. So
When
in
I
our languages, it is always very clearly, directly connected. No, we
yes,
can
sir.
see through the vibhakti, we can understand the relation, we can
Yes,
understand the karakas. That's why
yes,
the karaka vibhakti system represent this, and you can read sometime if you get time, you may get in online this karaka deep structure, surface structure in Panini by P.S. Subramaniam himself in his
yes.
book, that book we are following. But an article he has written in Indian linguistics.
But
If you read that,
is it available online, sir? This book by Subramaniam,
yeah,
sir.
Indian linguistics. Indian linguistics. Ha,
Indian
Subramanian's
linguist.
book is available in Exotica India or somewhere. The
Okay,
Deepa
sir.
will give you, so it is
Yes, sir.
available. But what you get, these articles are there. You can
Yes,
get Indian linguistics, volume 36. You will get this deep structure,
yes, sir.
structure in
Yes, sir.
Panini.
Yes.
So you will see when we read only, we will be able to more
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then
understand.
only we will
Yes,
able to
yes, yes.
understand. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir. Thank you, sir.
thank you, thank you. Yes, Niranjan, you should read Kannada grammar and tell us. Okay. Give
Namaskar,
the
sir.
feedback.
Definitely, definitely, sir.
Yes, yes. Now let us read our own grammar. Let us see. It is not that English or Sanskrit or any language, whatever we know, let us read in this perspective, keeping this in mind that how our language system works. And that we'll be seeing also next week on computer, how computer accepts it, to what extent computer. So next week we'll have Saturday, Sunday, two classes will be on computational linguistics, Panini and computers. How Panini's grammar is computable, how computational linguistics has developed, and how they are using Panini sutras any form you want. She will show that how computer gives you the all the sutras for any form, whether it is Krut, Tadhita. So he will also take these topics. I have told her she will also teach what Krut, how linguistically, computational linguistics takes care of this, computer takes care of the Krutanta section, Tadhita section, Samasa, Karaka, all these things also you will be learning. That's why I gave you in the beginning, it is just like an introduction linguistically. You will see the how computational linguistics accept the same rules in the same manner, so that you will see that how a system is computable, how Panini system is still viable, why we cannot. If we want to really understand our languages, we should read our own tradition, which is very, very, it is not written for anything else. It is only written to understand the human mind. I will take in diploma, we will have this, I will teach you how the system is more elaborated by in Vakyapadya. Bhartrihari, how he brings down grammar, philosophy together and explains in shlokas how the relation, sabda, artha, samas, relation, all things will dhvani, everything, spota, all aspects are explained by him with examples, with comparisons from the. I will give all in the modern language we find today. We will feel that you are at home. There is nothing new. Everything is there for us, but we do not know it. So let us know what is not known. So we should go and we should understand what is remains for us to learn. We have a lot to work out. So we have a lot of things they have provided. We'll try to see that. Yes, please. Subra, any complaint, any question, any doubt, please keep in mind, read it, all our grammars, so that let us see. Even Niharika, I think you are a Hindi, no? Or which language, your
Yes.
special language?
No, actually Bangla, but I
Oh,
know
Bangla,
it's
very
little
good.
bit of
Try,
Bangla and
try.
Hindi. So I've been comparing actually while you're speaking. I was
Now
putting
you
it
should read
in the
Bangla grammar.
very
We want that. Yes, Subra, please. What is your mother tongue?
Sir, Hindi.
Oh, Hindi. Okay, fine. But anyway, Hindi also now different types of Hindi. So
Yes,
you
sir.
can just think, let us see and read. And Kausal Jha is also there. You are Maithili or Hindi?
मैथिली
Kausal?
मैथिली मैथिली मैथिली
Eh?
सर मैथिली सर
Ah, very good. So Maithili has very close with Odia and all our
जी सर
languages. Try to read the Maithili grammar. Let us
जी सर
see how our grammars were written at that time, how it is written. What we'll be bringing. We should bring the understanding of our languages, that how they are close and in a very, internally, syntactically and semantically, how we are very close, how we speak languages. So that will be all our effort is to make understand that our system what we know, what we do not know. All we should know only when we read or say we read each other. One cannot, one-sided should not be. I am not telling anything of my own. What has been said, I am trying to present, and when you give feedback, we'll compare. So we'll write a grammar combining both Dravidian and Aryan. There is no Dravidian Aryan when you come to syntactic structures. When it comes syntax and semantics, we are all one. There is no Dravidian, no Aryan, except vocabulary differences. That also will be taking some time. Okay, so thank you all, and see, read it, keep reading, and then we'll be more taking up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.